Hello everyone, it's your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, here with another exciting live stream. Yo, thank you all for tuning in. If you guys are just now joining us, feel free to pop in that live chat and tell me how your day is today. Ask any questions that you have for your boy, and bring up any discussion topics that you'd like to talk about on the stream. Today is February 14th, 2019. I'm going to be talking about yesterday, February 13th, 2019, giving you my thoughts on today, what I did today, just pretty much giving you guys a quick overview of everything that I did while talking with you all and just, having a discussion, having a conversation. I really appreciate you guys tuning into these live streams, these vlogs, and having like these talks. I truly appreciate it. Also, I need to do an ebook giveaway thing for 1,000 subscribers. So that needs to happen at some point. Yo, Ryan, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on stream? Bum, 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 bum. Right now, I'm getting the description box set up. I'm also gonna put tags on the video as always. Ryan said, "Tell me how quantum entanglement happens naturally." Your boy Aiden sent me a long ass text message in response to your question, but because I stream with my phone, I can't pull up the text message. But I read it, and then I asked him, "Could you entangle one particle on like each person, like on two different people?" And then he was like, "No, that's not how entanglement works. Like you couldn't have it where one particle on two different people were entangled, like one particle for me and one particle for you." He's like, if you were to entangle two people, you'd have to entangle like the whole person and then have each whole person entangled to each other. And I was like, word? And he's like, yeah, like to entangle two people, the two people entirely have to be entangled. More or less what Aiden ended up saying in response to your question about how quantum entanglement can occur naturally, he's like, everything is more or less in an entangled state. I think he said like due to the Big Bang, but it depends on reference frames and observer effect. It was a really complicated long text message. So I don't know. And Ryan said, yeah. So yeah. So he's like entanglement does occur naturally and it's a whole bunch of stuff. I feel like it's definitely something where if I had Winslow on the stream, it would be easier for him to explain it to you via the live stream. He knows a lot more about physics than I do, for sure. He's about to work in a quantum lab. It makes sense that he would know a lot about physics. So I think I now have the tags set up, but I don't have the description fully fleshed out. So I'm almost there. Barnaby boys aboard the Chattanooga choo 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 choo. Ryan said, "Tell him I'm ready to join his micronation if he will friend me on Facebook." Okay, I will definitely throw that his way. I feel like his response would be, "Could you help him on projects?" I feel like that's what Aiden would want to know. Can you help him with projects to help build his micronation? Boom, 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 boom. Do, 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 do. Almost there. Aboard the Academy line. Choo, 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 choo. Hey, okay, so now I think the description's fully fleshed out. Ryan said, what kind of projects? I feel like that would be dependent on what he felt like you could offer to his nation. So I feel like that's an answer that Aiden could give you, but I can't necessarily give you. So I have now updated the tags and description of this video. So I'm going to start talking about my day. Feel free to interrupt me at any time with any questions or discussion topics you'd like to talk about. Okay, so last night's dream, because I always like to go over my dreams. So Dozer wanted me to break my one meal a day rule to go to 88 buffet in my dream, but I refused to. Dozer, Serena, Kayleigh, and a group of family members rode on a train together to celebrate Christmas with Serena a week early, because Serena, for whatever reason, needed to celebrate it a week early to be able to spend it with all of us. Back at Dad's house, I walked outside after Dad's wife tried to tell me to stop watching H3H3, even though I haven't really been watching H3H3 that much recently. Then, as soon as I walk out the house, I get attacked by Simpsons characters. But luckily, I found a talking Simpsons baby that I use in order to stun my attackers with this powerful cry. So I'm running away with the Simpsons baby, trying not to get attacked. When I suddenly get hunted by Deadpool, so Deadpool's like chasing after me with a gun. But luckily, I was able to phase through Deadpool, but it was like a test of courage kind of thing, where it's like, I'm not sure if this will work, but I gotta do it. And then I like run through Deadpool almost like he was a ghost. So after I phased through Deadpool to escape, a bunch of random people arrived at Dad's house, including one bulky, short-haired guy. He laid down on an air mattress and then he used two Harley Quinn lookalikes as blankets, and that's how I woke up. So that was last night's dream. Really weird, just all over the place. I don't understand why a lot of that stuff happened. Deadpool was weird. Normally I have dreams that involve superpowers, but they don't involve like specific franchises. Let's see. Ryan said, "What was the reason for you to not watch H3H3?" I think my dad's wife was saying that H3H3 was like raunchy content or something like that. Like it was just like not a good thing to watch. Like it was like a bad influence or something. But she got on to me like I was like a little kid in the dream. She was like, you shouldn't be watching H3H3." And I think she talked to Dozer too. She was like, "Has he been watching H3? That's just bad." It was like something like that. And then Ryan said, "Because I agree, you shouldn't. I agree with the dream. You shouldn't watch H3H3." I haven't really been watching H3H3. I've been watching a lot of Pretty Much It. I really like that channel. Ryan said, "You shouldn't, though." I watched a video that talked about how like Ethan Klein isn't the best guy, and it's like a really long video that talked about like this guy's thoughts on Ethan and how Ethan's messed up. Ryan says he's never heard of that channel. You've never heard of Pretty Much It? Pretty Much It is nothing like H3H3. Um, but I brought them up because I just finished watching a Pretty Much It video. I've been watching them a lot. Think of like Mystery Science Theater 3000 meets Game Grumps kind of thing. That's what Pretty Much It is like. But that's the YouTube channel that I've been paying a lot of attention to as of recent. It's been really good. I guess the closest thing to H3H3 that I've been watching recently has been Fainted. If you've never heard of Fainted, I don't blame you. A few weeks ago, Fainted had just hit 1,000 subscribers, and as of now, I think he's at like 250,000 subscribers or something like that. He's like grown like really rapidly, but he does do like internet celebrity exposed kind of content, but it's rather entertaining. He's like a British YouTuber. His name's Fainted, and he has the Spirited Away girl as his profile picture. Pretty solid channel. I recommend it if you want content like that, but not like too toxic. I feel like you might enjoy it, Ryan. Fainted. Shout out. I researched the 2018 ESA Planck results. Planck being like a space probe that was shot into space by what I believe is the European Space Agency, the ESA. I'm gonna double check that because I'm pretty sure that's what the ESA is. European Space Agency. Yep. So I researched the 2018 European Space Agency Planck results and learned that by their calculations, the universe is flat and therefore infinite. So I was really excited to learn about this because this supports NASA's WMAP 2013 results, WMAP being another probe that stated that the universe was flat with a 0.4% margin of error. I think that this is pretty solid proof of a flat, infinite universe and therefore the existence of the multiverse. And the way that that works is if the universe is flat, scientists say that the universe is also infinite. So if the universe is infinite, then that means that as long as the universe like continues to exist throughout time, like forever, that any possible world that you can imagine that has a possibility of existing that's greater than infinitesimally small, meaning that like it's not like a one in infinite chance of it occurring kind of thing. Anything that's greater than infinitesimally small probability of occurring, possible worlds either have existed, do exist, or will exist somewhere in the universe, allowing for like a multiverse to exist of like any possible world that you can think of, as long as the possibility of existing isn't like ridiculously crazy small, will exist or has existed or does exist somewhere out there. I feel like while that doesn't have the most practical use, because I don't think you'd be able to just like go to those worlds or casually interact with them, I do think it's a very interesting thing for the imagination. And I'm planning on writing a book about it. I've already written like 4 pages or so talking about like the multiverse and these concepts. But the Planck information is really cool. I think it's interesting because we just got the results published last year. It was like a 2018 paper. So this is like really new information. So I'm really hyped. Ryan said my internet cut out right after you mentioned the long video. Oh, so you just missed everything else I said. I recommended that you check out a YouTube channel called Fainted, which does content similar to H3H3, but I think it's better. It's run by like a young British guy. It's pretty cool. You can't miss it if you type in Fainted on YouTube. It'll show the Spirited Away girl's profile picture. And then Ryan said the internet connection is still dead. Uh, so I guess you can't see me even now. So you said using data. Oh, okay, cool. So you can see me now. That makes sense. So yeah, all I did was talk about how like haven't really been watching H3H3, but Fainted has been like an alternative that I've been watching. It does similar content on like internet celebrities being exposed kind of thing, and it even does do content on people who do like cringy things in real life. So very similar kind of thing to H3H3, but it's run by this British guy who does gaming content that he plays in the background while he talks about these people. And I feel like he does a pretty good job. He blew up. He used to have like 1,000 subscribers like a few weeks ago, and then over like a couple weeks went from like 1,000 subscribers to like 100,000 subscribers, and now I think he's at like 250,000 subscribers. So his channel's doing really well. If you haven't heard of Fainted yet, I recommend that you check him out. And then I started talking about the multiverse stuff. Ryan already talked to you about that like earlier today, so I don't think you need like the full multiverse speech again. So I think you're good on that. Today's fan poll was a four-way tie that resulted in Ryan winning the fan poll. We played two duels on Dueling Book. I won the first duel and Ryan won the second. I was able to get my combo off in the first duel and attack Ryan directly for 8,600 damage using my Ventra Vizier deck. In the second duel, Ryan using his frog combo was able to burn me for enough damage to kill me by repeatedly reviving and tributing a frog with a cannon. So that was actually really interesting. I called Black David and Aiden after the fanpool stream to see if they were free to have lunch together. Black David wasn't free as he needed to study, and I didn't hear back from Aiden, so I imagine he was busy at the time. I also messaged with Maddie, Danica, and Kratos, not for lunch, but just in general to catch up. So Maddie was getting ready for work at the time, but wanted to get milkshakes sometime soon, which is pretty ballin'. I told Danica about the multiverse research that I mentioned earlier, and she is actually really hype about it. We talked about it a little bit. It is awesome that Danica is into comic books and multiverse theory. I just feel like not all of my friends are super into stuff like that. So it's cool to be able to like mention that to someone and they get really excited and we have like full on discussions about it. Kratos is now studying for the Certified Ethical Hacker exam, and he has the book that everyone recommends that you have in order to study for the exam, which is like Penetration Test Plus or Penetration Plus, something like that. But it's like an all in one guidebook that's supposed to help you prepare for those tests. So I think he'll do fine. I still don't have that book. I need that book. But I feel like as long as Kratos reads that whole book and then goes in for the CEH exam, that he should do fine. He should be like ready. Ryan said when you need to get caught up with your ex-wife. Well, Maddie messaged me. She was like, "Hey, how are you today?" And I was like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna hit her up." Even if she hadn't messaged me, I probably would have hit her up at some point today. But me and Maddie are still like on good terms. I ate Maine Bowl for lunch. I'm not a fan of Maine Bowl's egg rolls. I wish they had shrimp egg rolls. I thought they tasted kind of weird. Maybe it was the vegetables, I'm not sure. I also don't like their ribs or General Tso's chicken. They need better side dish options. Their white rice is good, their orange chicken is good. I just don't know what the third item should be. And I think every third item I've tried has just not been very good. So I need to figure out what is the third item that I can put in like a main bowl box to like make it good. I got to hang out with Danica before class, and I sent a few important emails that I've needed to send out. So I emailed my boss because I need a letter that shows that I worked for Amerdec for some HR forms that I'm filling out for like the DoD. I also sent a email to Technicore. Technicore was like, "Hey, I think we have some positions that you might be able to fill." Technicore is a local computer forensics based agency in Huntsville, but they're not a government agency. So I sent them an email that has my resume and transcripts attached. But I told them that the only way that I can work for a non government agency is if they pay the government the amount of money that I would need to pay to not fulfill my government obligation. Because, like I've said before, with the scholarship I have, if you don't work for the government for a certain number of years, then the scholarship becomes like a loan where you have to pay the money back. But the scholarship is okay with you working for a non government agency as long as that non government agency is like, yeah, we'll pay the government. We'll just pay all that money that you owe, and now you can just work for us. So I messaged Technicore and I like filled them in on that. I also sent out emails to the Department of Homeland Security. They have multiple spots where they're like, hey, we're currently looking for interns and people interested in full time positions. Please send like your resume our way. So I typed out like a full email, almost like a cover letter, and attached to it my resume and transcripts. I sent those to all the different Department of Homeland Security email addresses that were like looking for people. There were like maybe like three or four, possibly even five different entries. I just sent my resume and transcripts out. Hopefully, at least one of those will stick. So that was pretty good. While I was hanging out with Danica, she tried to play a moose hunting game on the computer, but she got sad shooting at the defenseless moose, especially when they would like come toward her. She'd be like, "No, they're getting closer," and then she'd like shoot them and they die, and she'd be like, "No." So she stopped playing the moose hunting game, and she turned on like a dinosaur hunting game. And then in the dinosaur hunting game, she was shooting the dinosaurs, and it seemed like they took more bullets to kill than the moose. But with each shot, you could tell that she was getting kind of sad. She was like, they're already extinct. Like, what am I doing? And then she turned on a game where you're not even shooting like an animal, you shoot like apples, and she was just a bad shot. The animals kind of walked around slowly. The apples are like juggled in the air, and you gotta like shoot the apples in the air. And she just wasn't good at the game. But I thought that that was really interesting. She also played a block shifting puzzle, and I tried to help her out with the block shifting puzzle. And I thought that was actually really fun because we both had to kind of like use our heads and like solve a problem together. So I thought that was like a cute little moment. I asked Danica out for this Saturday. I had already gone on a date with Danica last Saturday, and me and Danica last year had gone on like a whole bunch of dates. I think I now have gone on like 8 or 9 dates with Danica, so this will probably be like the 9 or 10th date that I've gone on with Danica. But she's down to go on another date this Saturday. Didn't expect to be able to go on another date with her so soon, but I'm really hyped. I really like hanging out with Danica. She's into comic books. She's into the multiverse stuff. We've gone on like a ton of dates. She's also in the cybersecurity field. Things are just looking up. I'm digging it. Ryan says, sounds like she will follow Padme and die of sadness. What? But yeah, she's free this weekend for another date, and I'm excited. After class, I got Ryan an Oreo hot chocolate. Then we went to a cookout where Ryan talked about politics and whether or not quantum entanglement can occur naturally. It can. We learned that from your boy Aiden. And then Ryan and I came back to the dorm and watched some Eric Andre interviews because Eric Andre is pretty great. Aiden the gamer said, I'm mad I can't get Jump Force. Why can't you get Jump Force, Aiden? Also, I have 3 questions for you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics that you'd like to talk about on stream? Let's see. After Ryan left, I watched the new Nintendo Direct. I kind of watched a little bit of it with Ryan, but Ryan left about like 4 to 5 minutes into the beginning, and it's like a 30-minute thing. There was a trailer for a game about saving lost spirits and stopping them from becoming monsters. That game seemed really cool. Don't remember the name of it. They also showed a trailer for Tetris 99, which is a puzzle battle royale game, which I think is a super dope idea. But apparently, it's a Nintendo Switch exclusive. Boo! Put that shit on PS4. I think what happened is Tetris was like, we got some exclusive games. Who's getting them? Who's getting these games? If I'm not mistaken, I think Tetris Effect was exclusive for PS4. So I think Sony was like, we want Tetris Effect. And then Nintendo Switch was like, give us Tetris 99. Get us that Battle Royale game. And then I feel like Sony picked the wrong one. Sony should have picked friggin' Tetris 99. Because Tetris Effect looks cool, but Tetris 99 seems like it's pretty good. Pretty good. Aiden the Gamer said, my parents won't get it for me, and that game sounds like Bleach. Oh, the one about saving lost spirits from becoming monsters. When they were describing it, I had a similar thought where I was like, this is kind of like Bleach. This is like the plot of Bleach. It seems like a cool game. I do think it does sound like Bleach. I agree with you on that. Also, I'm sorry that your parents won't let you get Jump Force. Do you think if you saved up the money, like if you saved the money yourself, that you'd be able to just get the game with your own money, like to pick up Jump Force? Dead by Daylight is a really cool idea. I saw the trailer for that while watching the Nintendo Direct. And it's kind of like the Friday the 13th game where you can either play as a survivor or you can play as like a serial killer who's killing the survivors. But what I like about it is that unlike the Friday the 13th game, it's not stuck in a particular genre. So, I mean, sorry, it is stuck in a particular genre. It's not stuck with a particular franchise. So at Friday the 13th, you're always playing like Jason, and there are different versions of Jason from like different movies. But in Dead by Daylight, you're playing like random serial killers that they made up, and there are different serial killers that you can play as. And I thought that was pretty dope. So I think Dead by Daylight actually does seem like a pretty cool idea of a game. I'm not super into horror games, but I do like the concept of games where you can play as like the horror villain and you track down the survivors, or you can play as a survivor and you like try not to die. Because when the Friday the 13th game was first announced, I was like, ooh, that's just a really cool idea. Also, Grand Theft Auto 5 had a mode like that. That was like a slasher mode where you try to survive being hunted down by a slasher. And I thought that was really cool too. So this is essentially that kind of idea again. I'm starting to see more and more games like that, and I do think it's a cool premise. Aiden the Gamer said, right now I'm watching Boruto. Oh, ballin'. I haven't been keeping up with the anime of Boruto. I've only been reading the manga, but the manga's been pretty good so far. Also, Astral Chain looks like a badass open world supernatural buddy cop action game. And I thought that was super dope. They showed the trailer for that. My friend Ben earlier today was telling me about Astral Chain, and he was like, "It just looks like a really cool anime fight and shoot 'em up game like Devil May Cry or Bayonetta." Excuse me. And I was like, "That's cool." And then like I actually watched the trailer, and then I was like, "Whoa, whoa! This is what he was talking about. Oh, this is badass. What? They're police officers? What's going on?" When they first in the trailer they lift their arms up, and a device like springs open on their arm, and I thought they were gonna turn into Power Rangers. And then they summon these like weird robot characters that fight alongside them, and I was like, "Oh, this is dope. I like this." Aiden the Gamer said, I'm on episode 57. Oh, okay. Well, I guess I shouldn't ask what's currently going on. It'd probably be spoilers. Yo, John Mason, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. Got three questions for you. Question number one, how's your day today? Question number two, do you have any questions for your boy? And question number three, do you have any discussion topics that you'd like to talk about on stream? Aiden the Gamer said, be right back. See you when you get back. Ba-da-da-ba. Um, the last thing that I've done, like, before I started the stream, I brushed my teeth and freshened up a little bit. But the fuck? I brushed my teeth and freshened up, and I told Maddie about the multiverse stuff. And Maddie actually seems pretty interested in the multiverse stuff too. She's like, "What? Well, that's awesome." John Mason said today, as in 2:32 a.m. right now. So for John Mason, it's 2:32 a.m. For me, it is midnight 32. So it's like 12:32 a.m. for me. So I understand what John Mason means. Like today is in like the new day, or today is in like yesterday. Both. How was your day yesterday? And then how is your day right now at 2:32 a.m.? Ryan said I started to get caught up on Baruto. I was like 12 episodes behind, and now I'm like only three. With the latest arc, the anime is even more better than the manga by a mile. He said I'm on episode 89. Oh, interesting. Um, Speaking of getting caught up on anime, I didn't mention this at all. I'm now caught up on Hunter x Hunter, at least caught up with where Adult Swim is, and I think it's interesting. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but there was a fight going on where I was like, I think this fight is useless and I don't understand the point of this fight. It just seems like an ego trip for one character who's not very good versus a character who's just way better than them. And then the fight ended, and I was like, oh, never mind. That fight was totally worth it. Uh, like, they wrapped it up in like a nice way, and they made a fight that I thought was just kind of filler, like, feel important. And then they undercut the fight immediately by having one of the characters that you thought like ate a dick in the fight actually like come back, and I was like, no, no, what? So I don't know how to feel about the fight. It seemed weird. John Mason said yesterday was okay, nothing too special. As for today, gonna take a nap soon, get ready for school in 2 hours or so, leave home, etc. I'm excited for D&D. I'm going to watch Alita Battle Angel today. Oh, interesting. My friend Colin is really excited for that movie. If me and Danica weren't going on a date this Saturday, then I probably would hit up Colin and be like, "Hey, do you want to go see Alita Battle Angel?" But I got that date with Danica, so I think if I was to go see that movie with Colin, it would maybe be like this Sunday, something like that. John Mason said alone because my friends aren't interested and my ex and I broke up. So yeah, by the way. And he said I had a dream where I had holes in my mouth, like tiny black holes. What? Did it like? I have a lot of questions about the tiny black holes. Also, sorry to hear about you and your ex. I hope that you and your ex are able to at least still be friends. I heard that things have been a little rocky with that. I hope things improve over time. Your boy Kells came in with the, I wouldn't say an uwu because it uses equal signs, so equal equal. Yo, Kells, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. I have three questions for you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for me? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? John Mason, I'd like to hear more about your dream with the black holes in your mouth. Was it like a superpower where you could like use the black holes to like suck things up? Or was it like a curse where it's like, oh no, like my face is getting ripped apart by the black holes? And John Mason said, we don't talk much anymore, but she showed up at my stream. Oh, interesting. When she showed up at your stream, was it like a friendly thing? Like, hey, how's it going? Or did she just kind of like watch? Then Ryan said, uwu? Yeah, uwu. Ryan knows the uwu. After the stream, I'm probably gonna do laundry because I procrastinated too long and didn't do laundry. I also need to do homework. I have homework for my business statistics class that's due tomorrow at 6 p.m., and I haven't started it at all. I think I've been so focused on, like, I gotta get paperwork done, I gotta send emails, and I totally forgot that I gotta do homework. I have, like, real shit that I need to do. John Mason said it's more like, "Hey, can I play you?" And I was like, "Oh, sure." And nope, it's more like I had tiny black holes that were like cuts in my lip, etc. Like that thing you had a phobia for. Oh, so like I always forget the name of it. Tyrophobia or titrophobia, like a fear of like holes in the skin, but in your lips and black holes. That does sound like really shitty. I'm sorry to hear that. That sounds like a nightmare kind of thing. Also, I hope that things like get patched up. Her saying, "Hey, can I like play you?" kind of thing. Is that like playing a game together? Cause that sounds cool. Like the idea of her like wanting to like play games. John Mason said I was just watching it and it felt oddly okay. I was streaming Magic the Gathering Arena. Oh, okay. So, it's interesting that the black hole thing felt oddly okay. Like it didn't feel like bad. I'm glad that it didn't feel like a bad or horrifying thing. And also, it's cool because it sounds like she still wants to like at least play Magic the Gathering. I feel like you two could patch things up. Maybe not necessarily date again, but at least be friends. You know what I mean? Ryan then said, tripo tripopophobia. Am I saying it right? But yeah, I have like a fear of like holes in the flesh, and then if I see certain patterns, I like imagine it like on my face. Tripophobia. Yeah, that looks more correct because I remember there being like a Y in it. Your boy Kel said, "I'm doing all right. Working on my Spanish project." Then he said, "How was your dueling book stream?" And then he said, "If you had a superpower, what would it be, and what would you do?" Okay, so I hope things are going well in your Spanish project. I'm glad that you're having a good day. On the dueling book stream, I faced off against Ryan. Um, I won the first duel against Ryan using my Ventra Vizier deck. I was able to deal 8,600 damage to Ryan directly in two attacks in one turn. So I was able to get him pretty quickly with the first duel. In the second duel I had against Ryan, Ryan got me with a frog combo where he was able to repeatedly resurrect a frog, tribute it, and burn me for 400 damage. So he would bring it back to life, kill it, I take damage, bring it back to life, kill it, I take damage, and he just cycled that in a loop until I died. So right now, the dueling book stream ended with 1 point for me and 1 point for Ryan, but we didn't have enough time to do like a tiebreaker. Then if I had any superpower, what would it be and what would I do? I'd be really interested in being able to manifest anything I imagined and just putting it like into the world. And then what would I do with it? I would probably create like my own world and like interact with that. Also, since the multiverse is a thing, as long as it's true that the universe is flat and therefore infinite, and that like all possible worlds you could imagine exist or have existed or will exist, I would probably use my ability to manifest things from my imagination to like make a gateway to allow myself to like travel to like other possible worlds and interact with like other me's. So I would use my abilities, I guess, to do like interesting reality manipulation slash sliding where I create worlds and visit other worlds and visit other versions of myself and go on crazy universe hopping adventures. So yeah, uh, I'll ask that same question to the live chat. To everybody in the chat, if you had a superpower, what would it be and what would you do? Also, what should I do for the 1,000 subscriber special? I keep saying I need to give out an ebook. I need to do like a random draw for an ebook or give someone an ebook. What are you guys' thoughts? Like, what do you want for like a 1,000 subscriber special? What would you prefer? Let's see. John Mason said, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna lay off the dating for good. Everyone in my fam has been divorced on both sides, and my mom said it's a generational curse or something." Interesting. John Mason said, "A lot of guys and girls ask me out, and I just say, sorry, not into relationships." And then he said, "Nick, how long are you gonna stream for again?" So I have 30 more minutes just about until I end the stream. Normally I can go for longer, but two things. One, I have homework that I need to do. Probably not going to do it tonight. I might do it tonight because I have to do laundry, so I might as well do it while I like work on laundry. So I'm probably going to do laundry after the stream and work on homework that's due tomorrow at 6. And then after that, I'm just going to have to go to bed because laundry is going to take like a hot minute. I think the washing machines themselves take 45 minutes, and then the dryer takes an hour. So laundry is going to be an hour and 45 minutes minimum. So I can use that time to do homework and get laundry out of the way and then go to sleep. So that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. Also, I understand the idea of like wanting to take a break from relationships. It's not something I do personally. I normally like to bounce back really quickly. I got divorced last month, and I have a date with Danica Saturday. So I normally don't do the take a break thing, but I understand the idea of like wanting to. Ryan said 2010 Frog OTK, and then he posted the frog emoji. Ryan's been making the different Yu-Gi-Oh! World Champion decks from different years, and he tried the frog deck against me. Right now we're 1-1. We can see if the frog OTK will get me again, or if Venture Vizier will be able to prevail. Then Ryan said, "Sliders." Sliders is a really cool show. If you guys have never heard of it, I'd recommend checking it out. Sliders is about like a group of people traveling from universe to universe, but they can't control where they go or when they go. They just have to keep traveling, and they're trying to find their home universe to get back to. But as they keep getting to places that seem a lot like home, they discover that something is drastically different, and they end up going on a crazy adventure and then having to go to the next world. There's one girl who's really into like paranormal stuff, and she's kind of like the hippie character. You then have this young boy Quinn, who is like a genius inventor who's created this portal to go to like different worlds. You have his teacher, who's kind of like old smart. He knows a lot about history and he is into physics, but he doesn't know as much about physics and technology as Quinn does. And then you have this random black R&B singer who's just there, and he's kind of like the heart of the group, but he's not very smart. Um, yeah, he's just there. He's not stupid or anything, but most of the other people have like a specialty. I guess you could say that he's the most into culture. He knows about like music and art and stuff like that. But it's a really cool ragtag group of people who travel from like world to world. I think it's pretty ballin'. Let's see. John Mason said, I want a Sharingan and the abilities that came with it. So basically, Genjutsu and having my own pocket dimension and teleportation. That is pretty ballin'. I feel like that is an interesting set of abilities. And then what would you do with those powers? That's a big part of Kel's question. Like, now you have the Sharingan, you have Genjutsu, you have a pocket dimension, you have teleportation. Now, what do you use those powers for? Like, what do you do with them? And then Kel said, isn't the universe fourth dimensional? Yeah. So the universe is fourth dimensional because you have um, the normal three dimensions that we exist in plus time. Like time is the fourth dimension. Then John Mason said, ebook. So you do want an ebook? Then Kel said, you should do a contest. What should the contest be? Also, I have like a whole bunch of different books that I've published over the years. What book, if you could pick one, do you think should be the book that I would give away to like whoever won the contest? And what should the contest be? John Mason said, Nick, you want to watch the Mortal Kombat video? It's like 7 minutes. I feel like you could win a fan poll. I originally was gonna watch it without being in a fan poll, and then you voted for it for a fan poll, and I was like, I think it would be really cool if like the audience like was vibing with it and they like also wanted to see it. So I feel like you could do it. John Mason said, considering I did ask for number six, then Kel said frog should be illegal. So some of the cards that Ryan used were banned, like now. But because we're using custom card format, he's able to still play them. So don't worry, the frog combo that Ryan did is not something that you can currently do in the game, but it is legal in custom card format, which is why Ryan's trying out all these different old championship decks, because a lot of them don't work anymore because the rules have changed. But in custom format, anything goes. And it's been really cool seeing old championship decks face off against custom card decks and see how they like match up. John Mason said, I just got, woo, I think I scrolled down too far. John Mason said, I just got rid of a succubus that was draining me. And he said, oh my gosh, Nick, remember I told you recently I've been stuck in this mental state every day. I'd be lacking motivation. Someone told me it was a succubus. I had to mentally will it to leave me alone before I go to bed. And now I feel way better every day. So I guess you have like a ritual before you go to bed where you like are like succubus away. I mean, not necessarily like that, but you like focus on like keeping the succubus off you, and now you feel better. It kind of reminds me of like an energy vampire kind of thing. Someone who kind of like drains you like emotionally. It's an interesting concept. Ryan said, I've seen a few episodes of the Sliders. He's referring to the Sliders TV show. And the concept is cool, but I'm not sure if the execution was done well. I've seen at least 2 or 3 seasons of Sliders. I didn't finish it. I watched it when it was on Netflix, but I took a big break from Sliders, and then when I was going to come back to watch it, it was no longer on Netflix anymore. I really do like Sliders, but I think it suffers from something similar to Misfits. Misfits is like a British superhero show about a bunch of, well, it's not a superhero show, it's more of a superpower show. It is a British show about a bunch of like young adults who have to do community service and they get superpowers and then they just kind of have to live life with superpowers. Um, Misfits, they have a changing cast that like changes over time. And as the cast changes, the show kind of changes and it can't hold up to the original hype that it had. I feel like Sliders has the same problem, where as the seasons continue, the cast changes, and you just don't vibe with the cast as much as you did the original cast, where the show isn't necessarily bad, but it doesn't feel as good as before. It's just kind of different. John Mason said, also, I have a pic to send to you later. Okay, ballin'. Vanessa Brooks said, hi. Yo, Vanessa Brooks, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. I have 3 questions for you. Question number 1, how's your day today? Question number 2, do you have any questions for your boy? And question number 3, do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on stream? Did you know? Pixar said that the Toy Story scenes in Kingdom Hearts 3 are canon to the like Toy Story movie series, and the Kingdom Hearts 3 takes place in between the events of Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 3, which is really odd. Apparently in Kingdom Hearts 3 they revealed that all toys are sentient, but they have to realize they're sentient in order to start like moving and walking around. Kel said, if I had a superpower, I would have a stand from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, specifically Sticky Fingers from JoJo Part 5. So, what comes with Sticky Fingers? Like, what are the powers and abilities of Sticky Fingers? Then Ryan said, so only Obito's Sharingan? I guess he's saying in response to John Mason. Then John Mason said, Genjutsu I'll use to force my will on humans, and then he named someone whose name I can't pronounce. And then Pocket Dimension to hide when I want to be alone. Interesting. So you would control people, and then you would kind of, whenever you like wanted to have like your own domicile, go to your pocket dimension. On what scale would you control people? Would you like casually control people? Would you only control people during emergencies? Would you do that in order to gain additional influence in like your school, or like in your home, or in your city, or like the world? Like would you try to like control as many people as you could and like gain power, or would you just try to live a normal life but still have that ability? And in your pocket dimension, can you put other things there? Would you have like a kingdom that existed in your pocket dimension, but it was like more or less a fortress of solitude, similar to like Superman? Or would it kind of be like just an empty place where you can just empty your mind and just chill? Ryan said, I hear that black guy was the only character to make it to the end. Really? Of Sliders? Also, spoiling ass Ryan? Spoiling sliders. Then John Mason said, hello, Vanessa Brooks. And then Vanessa Brooks said, hi, guys. Kel said, Sticky Fingers allows the user to do zipper stuff. It's hard to describe, so I'm going to post a link in the chat to like a clip or something. Interesting. Then Ryan said, sounds like a psychosomatic placebo effect. What were we referring to? You got me when you said sounds like a psychosomatic placebo effect. Are you talking about the succubus thing that John Mason does, where at night he like kind of tells the succubus to like get off of him, and then he feels better? Is that what you're saying? Sounds like a psychosomatic placebo effect? Then John Mason said, Nick, I'm gonna have to get rid of my rivals in the votes. Oh, are you talking about Matt? He said I'm targeting Yotaro-chan first. He is talking about Matt. Ooh, the rivalry's on. John Mason versus Matt. Let's go. Vanessa Brooks said, my day is good. Yes, you're right about Toy Story. I was looking for Jessie. She was not in the game. Jessie's not in the game? Who all is in the game from Toy Story? I know that Woody, Buzz, Rex, and Slinky are in the game. Who else is in the game for Kingdom Hearts 3? Is Little Bo Peep in the game? Ryan said links in the chat won't work. Word? Oh, okay. Um, that's interesting. I wonder what Kells is going to do then to tell us about the zipper power. John Mason said, I'll try to experiment how far I can control them and use it as much as I like and on whims. And he said, yes, I can put other things in the pocket dimension too. He said, I know it's probably placebo though, talking about the succubus thing. Even if it is like a placebo thing, if it works for you, I mean, that's great. Then Vanessa Brooks said Ham. Okay, so Ham is in Kingdom Hearts 3. Interesting. Are there any other interesting fun facts from Kingdom Hearts 3 where you're like, whoa, that's canon, that you think would be interesting to like share with the chat? Because I feel like if you tell us specifically Toy Story stuff, it's not going to be like a big spoiler for Kingdom Hearts 3 or anything. Let's see. Then John Mason said, Nick, is there a 3D model viewer in Jump Force? And is Slifer there? I'm not sure if there's a 3D model viewer, but Slifer is definitely in Jump Force. He's Yugi's most powerful card in the game. Let's see. Then Kel said, Jet, how can I send you the links? I don't think you can, Kels. What you may have to do is tell me the title of the YouTube video you want me to watch, and then I can search it on my computer. And I'm try and make it a YouTube video, something relatively short that I can watch like while we do this. Vanessa Brooks said the Green Guy toys, the Sarge. Okay, so the little toy soldiers in the bucket are also in Toy Story 3. Okay, ballin'. Ryan said, was Bo in Toy Story 2? Little Bo Peep? Little Bo Peep was in Toy Story 1. She's been Woody's love interest since the beginning. John Mason said, Kels, you send them through me. I'm the regulator for the links. Kel said, I'll just explain it. Give me a sec. Okay, no problem. John Mason then said, I'll get the message to the boss. Ooh, that reminds me of Katekyo Hitman Reborn, which is a really good anime if you haven't seen it. When you said, I'll get the message to the boss, it reminded me of the explosion expert in that anime. And then Ryan said, but was she in two? Are you implying that Little Bo Peep is somehow not in the second movie at all? I imagine she was. Was she not? Then Vanessa Brooks said that Little Bo Peep wasn't in Kingdom Hearts 3 either. Interesting. They've redesigned her for 4, and it seems like she's going to be like a more important character in 4. Then Ryan said, I don't remember if she was in 2. Interesting. If she was in 2, I don't think she played like an integral role to anything. I know Rex was surprisingly important in 2. So let's see. Based on the powers and the things that we said that we would do, John Mason then said, Nick, yo, John Mason, what? I didn't expect you to yell. And then Vanessa Brooks said, and the alien. Oh, the little like claw machine alien guys, they're in the game? That's cool. Kel said sticky fingers allows you to zip things open like a pouch. Within the space, the zipper opens up as like a pocket dimension, and the user can use it to store things. Oh, that's ballin'. And then Vanessa Brooks said the little alien guys from the claw machine are funny in Kingdom Hearts 3. They're kind of funny in the movies too. I like how they go from being like isolated aliens that like worship the claw to being like a little kid for the Potato Head family. I thought that was interesting. John Mason then said, in our last D&D session, I rolled 3 numbers, and the girl in school playing the current monster rolled the exact 3 and then beat me. Hard rip. Then he said, what are the odds? This is on a real D20, by the way. Um, D&D has a lot of interesting stuff like that. If you watch some of the D&D streams that we do on Fridays, they're now going to be on Thursdays and Fridays because we have a D&D session that's run by Matt on Thursdays that's starting tomorrow. And then we have D&D sessions that are run by Colin on Fridays, and we're like a few sessions into that now. Um, in that, I roll natural ones a lot. Like, I get ones really consistently, and it's kind of weird. Kel said the user can also use the zippers to remove body parts or bend body parts in weird ways. Now, that's interesting. That actually made it a lot more demented than before. Then John Mason said, Matt, Yotaro? Yep, Yotaro is going to be the game master for our Thursday D&D sessions. And then John Mason said, bring me his head. So, Kels, you said that you would use sticky fingers as your power. What would you use sticky fingers for? Because I'm getting ready to set this up as a battle royale, where I'm going to make up a story for why all 3 of us would fight, and then I want to hear you guys' thoughts on who would win the fight and why. Vanessa Brooks said Rex loves to play video games. That's like a huge part of Toy Story 2 because Rex knows like how to defeat Zurg or whatever. I thought that was like an interesting plot point. And I think for the Toy Story 2 video game, which I've never played, you're playing the game that Rex was playing, so it's just like a Buzz Lightyear video game. It's really weird. Kel said, for example, Bruno, the guy with the stand, was going to get punched in the face, so he zipped his face in half to avoid the attack while standing still. That's interesting. So he more or less forced his opponent to punch into a pocket dimension instead. That's kind of dope. So, Kels, what would you use the sticky finger stand for? Because I know that I would use my power to try and travel the multiverse and to create my own worlds. And then I know that John Mason wants to use his powers to control people and to be alone. John Mason said, "Oh damn." To be honest, to be very honest, I think I'll win the fight because once you're in my genjutsu, well, I can go in my dimension, hide, jump out randomly or timed, and look at you, and bam, under my control. And then Vanessa Brooks said they added Monsters Inc. to Kingdom Hearts 3. So Monsters Inc., Toy Story, and Big Hero 6 are the 3 Kingdom Hearts worlds that I learned about that are in this game, where I'm like, I think those would be really interesting. I talked to Kratos. Kratos has actually already beaten Kingdom Hearts 3, and his three favorite worlds were Frozen, Tangled, and Pirates of the Caribbean, which are the three that I heard were like the worst in the game. I was really surprised to hear that. And then I think he put like Toy Story and Monsters Inc. like near the bottom for his list. He said that he didn't like the environments. He said everything else was good. He also put Hercules near the bottom, and I was really surprised by that because Kratos loves mythology, and he's like, "Whoa, no, no, no! Don't get me wrong, it's not bad. I just felt like the environments for those levels just weren't as good as they could have been." Kel said last thing because it's a stand, the ability is represented by a monster guy thing that you control. I'll send you a pink. I'll send you a pic on Amino to show you what I mean. Don't worry, Kels. I actually am familiar with stands in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I just don't watch JoJo. I got really into a JoJo Bizarre Adventure fighting game while at an anime convention, and I played that game like over and over and over again on an arcade cabinet. So I am familiar with like the concept of stands and the idea that you summon like the monster dudes. Can't only stand users see stands? So fighting Kells would be interesting because I don't think John Mason or myself would be able to see his stand. John Mason has a point that as long as he looks at us, he can get us in his genjutsu and that he can hide away in pocket dimensions. I'm not sure how well your pocket dimensions would really help you out though, because Kells has the zipper thing, so he can. I'm not sure if Kells could use his zipper to like enter your pocket dimension or not. I'm not sure. And then part of my like pulling things from my imagination power is that I like make gateways to go to like other worlds that exist in the multiverse. So I imagine that if I can do that, and since it is an imagination based ability, I feel like I could imagine a gateway to enter your pocket dimension. And then Vanessa Brooks said yes. So Vanessa Brooks, what are your three favorite Disney worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3? Like, what are your top three, like, personally? And Kels, what would you use the sticky fingers? I got lost. What would you use the sticky fingers power for? Like, what would you use it to do? And then John Mason said, "Oh, that's interesting, but I'll call the police for breaking and entering into my dimension." Um, the police? Well, you do control people. That actually is a good point. It depends heavily on how many people John Mason already has under his control. Because I do think that makes a big difference. Um, I'm trying to think what would be the best move for everybody. So I think Kells has an interesting setup. So you can teleport, you can enter your own pocket dimension, and you can trap us in illusions. I can create anything that I imagine, but I normally use it to like universe hop and to create my own worlds. And then Kells can put zippers on reality and use it to manipulate his body parts in interesting ways, tear away people's limbs, and enter a pocket dimension. I feel like Kells would go for your eyes. He'd try to use the zipper to zip your eyes open so that you couldn't look at us with a Sharingan. I think that's what he would go for. Vanessa Brooks said Pirates in the Caribbean, Frozen, and Big Hero 6. And he said, "Oh, I forgot. I purchased Jump Force. I actually pre-ordered Jump Force. So, hey, both getting that Jump Force virtual high five, virtual fist bump." Pirates of the Caribbean and Frozen, I heard were two of the worst worlds. So I guess, excuse me, now I'm really curious. What made you really like the Pirates world in Frozen? Excuse me, sorry. I keep having hiccups slash burps. It's like a combo. What makes you really like Pirates of the Caribbean and Frozen in Kingdom Hearts 3? Because I've heard both of those are bad, but you're like the second person to tell me that it's like some of your favorite worlds. Then John Mason said, "Wait, but do we know each other's abilities? That does change things. Maybe we could do rounds where in certain rounds we know each other's abilities, but in other rounds we don't. Because that's what they do on Who Would Win Reddit. They'll be like, round one, nobody knows each other's abilities, and everybody's fighting for like story reasons. And it's like round two, everyone knows each other's abilities and they're fighting for story reasons. And then round three, everybody knows each other's abilities, but you're bloodlusted. So you're not fighting for a particular reason. You just want to kill each other because it's like this urge that like everybody has. Bloodlusted is normally when you get the most intense fights because that means everybody's out to kill. You're not just fighting just because. John Mason said, and wouldn't Kells have to get close to zip me? I feel like Kells has an interesting setup for his power. Because I feel like if Kells opened a pocket dimension in front of you, like with the zipper power, that he could be behind the pocket dimension opening that he unzips so he's not looking directly at you. And then maybe he could use that as a distraction to try and get around you and then put zippers on your eyes. Then John Mason said, I don't have to get close to look at him. He's like, I just have to look at him. Now, when you look at him, is it like Medusa, where like they have to also look at you and like get caught like in your gaze, like you looking at each other? Or is it a thing where you can see him and he doesn't have to see you and boom, he's caught? Because I'm not sure exactly how the Sharingan thing works. And then Kel said, sorry, I'm back. What did I miss? And then he said, to zip you, I have to punch you with sticky fingers. Oh, with the monster thing. Because he can hit you with the stand and we can't see stands, there would be no way for us to like know that the zipper thing was like coming unless we knew about his power ahead of time. Because if I knew about his power ahead of time, I'd probably imagine glasses that let me see stands because I would just want to know where it was. And then John Mason said, Shishui's Sharingan, they don't have to see him. So all you'd have to do is just look at us. That seems pretty dangerous. I'm curious what I could imagine to like make sure I wasn't seen. Maybe a belt that gave me like stealth abilities, like Batman Beyond. He has a belt where if he pushes in the buckle, he like turns invisible. Maybe I could try and give myself a device like that in the round where we know each other's powers so that I can be invisible so that you guys can't see me. And then I can try and think of more strategies while you guys are trying to find me. Vanessa Brooks said, because Elsa's singing Let It Go and Pirates of the Caribbean because I can destroy pirate ships and see my girl Elizabeth bring me back Pirates of the Caribbean World's End movie. That was my favorite movie. I see. So you already like really were hype about Pirates of the Caribbean. So you're like, ooh, ooh. And then you really liked hearing Elsa sing. That's fair. John Mason said, Sharingan see chakra, so I'll probably be able to see it. If I know that, I wonder if I could make a device that could cloak my chakra. That'd be interesting. Then Vanessa Brooks said, like you got me. Then Vanessa Brooks said, Holden Death Note. Kel said, do you have your own OG Sharingan, or do you have someone else's? Then John Mason said, Light is amazing. I can't understand why people prefer L. And then he said he supports executions. Light does the executing. Let's see. Oh, Kels. I still don't know what you would use sticky fingers for. Like, if you had sticky fingers, what would you do with it? And then John Mason said, I'll probably make my own Sharingan. I guess in order to really do a who would win fight between like the three of us, I would really need to know what your Sharingan was capable of to try and think through it in my head, like who I think would win. Also, if you guys have ideas for like how this would go out, like how this fight would go, feel free to write like your own fan fictions and post them in the Amino. As long as they're like 250 words or less, I'll do dramatic readings of them live on air. And I do think it would be really cool to read out a fan fiction written by you guys on who would win in a fight. Myself, John Mason, or Kells with each of our chosen abilities. Me being able to summon things from my imagination, John Mason having his own custom Sharingan, and Kells being able to use the stand Sticky Fingers. Let's see. John Mason said, I'll probably make my own Sharingan. I'll design it today and then send it. Oh, and then send you it. And then you said, I think I'll do that. Oh, ballin'. Sounds cool. Let's see. Vanessa Brooks said, so basically, Light not fighter, he villain. True. I mean, I felt like Light and L both felt like protagonists in their own way. That being said, I never finished Death Note. I only watched like the first few episodes. Me and my friend Ray were gonna watch it together all the way through, and then we ended up just not. Let's see. Kel said stands don't equal chakra, so you can't see the stands with the Sharingan. You specifically need a stand to see stands unless you use weird glasses thing that Jet said he'd make with his power. And then John Mason said, and it's Sharingan. Sharingan and Rinnegan. Sharingan alone can't be so OP. Interesting. And then Vanessa Brooks said, light mine, push Misa off cliff. Oh, goodness. Uh, what am I thinking about? So I think Kells is right that the Sharingan wouldn't be able to see the stand because it is specifically only stand users can see stands. That's true. Then Kells said, dude, Renegons are broken. You basically just won, except maybe to Jet. Then John Mason said, I'll control Jet to make me the glasses. To give you the glasses so that you can see his stand. I suppose it also depends on where the fight starts. I feel like if I knew why Kells, not why, but what Kells would use his powers for, then I'd be able to better determine why we would fight. So, again, my question to you, Kells, is with the power of sticky fingers, what would you do with it? Because based on your answer, I can like try and like frame a story. Then Vanessa Brooks said, I got all of Death Note on DVD. I was watching it on Netflix at the time with my boy Ray. Then Ryan said, my phone ran out of power. Then you need to put it on the charger so it can regain its power. Right now, we're talking about who would win in a fight. Myself, John Mason, or Kells. We each picked one superpower, and then we're trying to figure out what Kells would use his power for. John Mason would use his power to control people and to be alone. I'd use mine to travel between different worlds and to create my own worlds. And then I don't know what Kells would use his power for. I have no idea. Then Ryan said, I have never finished watching Death Note. Neither have I. Maybe we could watch them together. Vanessa Brooks said, do you know an anime called Sand of Destruction? I do not. I've never heard of that. What is Sand of Destruction about? Kel said, I would just kind of live my normal life, but use it to store things and sneakily hit people I don't like. Okay, so I got something. So Kells would use his pocket dimension to store things, and he would also use it to hit people he doesn't like. So if that's the case, I'm trying to figure out what would start the fight. I could see John Mason controlling someone that we care about, like him trying to see how far he can go with his powers. He controls someone, and I'm like, no, why'd you control like such and such? And he controls someone that Kells really likes. And then Kells, in his description, is already like, I'll fight people who like I don't like. So if Kells doesn't like John Mason because John Mason took control of one of Kells' friends, then Kells would try to use his powers to fight John Mason. So I already know how John Mason and Kells would end up like duking it out. If John Mason took control of someone that I didn't like, sorry, not someone I didn't like, but someone I cared for. Let's say John Mason took control of like Danica or something. I would probably, I probably wouldn't fight John Mason. I think I would imagine like a machine that if you wore that device, it would protect you from John Mason's like control ability. And I think I would just put that device on Danica and then I wouldn't fight. Though I think Kells and John Mason would fight because as soon as John Mason took whoever Kells like cared about and took control of him, Kells would be like, pocket dimension. Let's see. John Mason said, my pocket dimension is mainly so if humans died and I have no one to control. So you would go to your pocket dimension if like you were the only person around? That's interesting. Ryan said Sharingan can be OP. Then Vanessa Brooks said, I have a question. Sasuke versus JoJo, who will win? I feel like Naruto characters are really, really fast. I don't know how fast JoJo is. Can't JoJo pause time though? Depending on which JoJo we're talking about? I guess I'm not sure. If JoJo can pause time, then couldn't he just pause time, beat the shit out of like Sasuke, and then unpause time and Sasuke just like die? Um, if he can't pause time, then I feel like Sasuke with his ninja speed might be able to like speed blitz JoJo. I don't know enough about JoJo, and really I don't know enough about Sasuke. I think Ryan knows a lot more about Sasuke than I do, and my friend Ellis knows a lot more about JoJo than I do. Ryan said, "Did you see Kakashi with both Obito's eyes?" I haven't really watched a lot of the end of like Naruto Shippuden, so I don't know. Then John Mason said Sasuke, so he feels like Sasuke would be JoJo. Kel said Renegons give the person the power to 100% heal themselves, control pushing and pulling forces, and can literally rip your soul out. Well, John Mason isn't going to have the Renegon. I think he said he's just going to have his own custom Sharingan, but I don't think he's going to have the Renegon as well. Then Vanessa Brooks said, Sasuke-kun pushed Sakura off cliff. Sasuke doesn't even like Sakura. I'm surprised they had a kid. That just seems really weird. I think Sakura was just thirsty. Then John Mason said, Genjutsu can make you think you lived your entire life. True, Genjutsu has been shown to be really powerful in Naruto. Kel said Mason wins if he has a Rinnegan, like he says. Then Ryan said Sasuke can max out on all of his eternal Menkangekyo Sharingan powers and Rinnegan powers, and is privy to any new abilities only he may have. Interesting. Then Kel said which Sasuke is fighting Jotaro. Interesting. I imagine the most recent Sasuke, right? Like the oldest version of him, just to give him like the most feats. Then John Mason said in the light novel, Itachi's story, Itachi had to kill his girlfriend, so he used his genjutsu on her to make her imagine she lived her entire life with Itachi and got married, etc., and then killed her. John Mason said she essentially lived her entire life in an instant. Ryan said adult Sasuke can use his Rinnegan teleportation to be even faster. And then John Mason said it's the Sharingan, the Sharingan. Oh wait, John Mason, do you have a Sharingan, like a Sharingan Rinnegan combination? Because I think that'd be pretty powerful. And then Ryan said the Rinnegan doesn't really give you that kind of healing. And then Kel said, because in most cases Sasuke beats Jotaro, Jotaro might put up a fight though. If he can pause time, then can Sasuke get around pause time? And then Ryan said Pain could heal the paths, but they're already dead. Omewa memo. Shinderu. Nani? Ryan said, I have Itachi's light novels, but haven't read them. Then Kel said, Mason, if you have the Sharingan, you literally win. No questions asked. Then Vanessa Brooks said, Goku Black, mine, evil form. My good is Vegito. Push Chi-Chi off cliff. Yeah, you just killing all the anime waifus. Then John Mason said, yep, you gotta have that for the teleportation I mentioned earlier. Oh, okay. I mean, it sounds like the Rinnegan's just super powerful. Also, I solve problems like one step at a time a lot of times. So I feel like I could imagine something, but it wouldn't be immediately helpful. Um, if I knew all John Mason's powers ahead of time and could prepare, I wonder what I could do. We'll probably have to continue this in like a future live chat discussion because we have gone past an hour and I have to do laundry and work on homework. But I do appreciate hanging out with you guys as always. Vanessa Brooks said did like a crying but laughing emoji. Kel said the Rinnegan gives you the powers of all the paths. And then John Mason said, lol, Vanessa's ability actually to form a cliff out of nothing to push people off of it. That would be an interesting power. Excuse me. And then she'd use it to catch all her like anime husbandos. Took me a minute to remember that word. I'd like to thank you all for watching. If you like this video, make sure to smash that like button, favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding ding ding, ring that notification bell to be notified whenever we do these live streams. Also, stay tuned. I'm going to start the fan poll stream in a minute, so you guys will be able to jump onto that and then vote for what you would like to see tomorrow at 1 p.m. So definitely make sure you tune into the fan poll stream and vote, 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 vote. Vanessa Brooks said, I was sad that Wally died. Artemis. Hey, calm down with those Young Justice spoilers. I'm aware, but not everybody's seen season 1 yet. Uh, John Mason said, Nick, last thing. Yo, what's up? Kel said, I would probably lose because I would have to make clever moves fast, but I can't do that, lol. I mean, I guess it depends on can you use the pocket dimension with sticky fingers to travel? Because if you could use it to travel, maybe you could somehow like Duke John Mason. John Mason said, remember, if I lose the fan poll today, Yotaro's head. Then Vanessa Brooks said, oops. Oh, what was the oops? Oh, the spoiler thing for Young Justice? No problem. I mean, what's done is done. I would just avoid spoilers in the future. I know my dad watches the stream sometimes, and he's like just now getting into Young Justice. So I don't think he's finished season 1 yet. So that would be like a hard spoiler. Kel said you can't use the dimension to travel. Ooh, yeah, you would have to make like a lot of smart moves quickly. And even then, John Mason gave himself a very interesting set of powers. So I don't know. Well, we'll see. But anyways, I'd like to thank you all once again for watching. If you like this video, make sure to smash that like button, favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding ding ding, ring that notification bell to be notified whenever we do these live streams. Make sure that you check out the fan poll stream that's coming up after this, and make sure that you vote in the comment section of the fan poll stream for what you would like to watch today on the channel. Let's see. Your boy John Mason said, "I'll break down my powers and make them not too OP." Then he said, "Later, Nick. I'd be interested in seeing you guys post fan fiction of this fight. So John Mason and Kells, if you're interested, I'd love to see a fan fiction from your different perspectives. So John Mason, if you wrote one that was from your perspective on how you would face off against me and Kells, if you could write one from your perspective on how you'd face off against me and John Mason, I think that would be really cool." And then Kel said, "I could literally only win if I had the Requiem arrow." Interesting. But yeah, if you guys are interested in doing those fan fictions, I think that'd be really dope. Shout out to Kells. Shout out to John Mason. Shout out to Vanessa Brooks. Shout out to Ryan. Do, 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 do. I always scroll up to try and make sure that I don't miss anybody. Do, 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 do. I think that might actually be everybody that tuned in. Nope, Aiden the Gamer tuned in earlier. Hey, that's why we always scroll back. Shout out to Aiden the Gamer. And that is everyone who tuned in to the fan poll. Let's see, your boy Kel said, "You know what? I'm just going to use my own stand. I'll explain it next stream." Ooh, sounds interesting. Thank you all once again for tuning in. This is your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black the one and only, logging out. And stay tuned, like I said, the fan poll stream's coming up next. Sounds like Kells is going to have his own stand, John Mason is going to have his own custom shrine going, and I'm just imagining whatever I want and just making it into reality.